Hey everybody, Weston here with The Hidden Gibbon, and it has been an absolutely, I would say, memorable year for Magic the Gathering. 2025 has brought us some high highs, some low lows, but here at The Hidden Gibbon, I love Magic the Gathering, so we are going to focus on the best of Magic 2025. Call me a shill, but I love the game. I've been playing it for over 20 years. I can't do that and hate the game, right? So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So, first and foremost, I think that Universes Beyond, on the whole, had a great year in Magic the Gathering. Now, I know that we had Spider-Man, which was a weak set, but we also know that that was kind of a fluke, right? Then we had Final Fantasy and Avatar. And we haven't gotten the numbers for Avatar yet, but I am fairly certain that it's going to be one of the best-selling sets of all time. Final Fantasy was the best-selling set of all time, beating out Lord of the Rings on its very first day of being able to be sold to distributors. And the card designs and quality in Avatar and in Final Fantasy have made such an impact that those cards will be used in various formats for years to come. Right? We've already seen some impact from Lessons in Standard. Obviously, Commander has a big impact. We might end up seeing some of those cards down the road make their way into different formats. But I think that on the whole, Avatar and Final Fantasy, and then from a few years ago, Lord of the Rings, show us the very best of Universes Beyond and what Wizards can do with a property when they do it correctly. Number 2. We have Universes Within sets. Just like the Universes Beyond, we did have a weaker Universes start to Universes Within this year. We had Return to Innistrad or Innistrad Remastered, right? And it didn't sell the greatest. It tried to play off nostalgia and it just didn't do great, right? And then we had Aether Drift, which was also not really well received as a hat set. But then we got Tarkir Dragonstorm. And although I am not a huge fan of the original Tarkir, I know a lot of folks are, and this set was received very well. The cards that I saw from it, the cards that I've played with from it, are incredibly good, very well done. I can tell that the design team put a lot of care, love, and effort into that set. And then we got Edge of Eternities. And Edge of Eternities is one of the coolest and most interesting sets that I have played in Magic the Gathering in a very, very long time. And it is one of my favorites. There are a lot of very interesting cards. I play mostly Commander nowadays, and that's where most of the cards that are coming from that set are getting played in. But I absolutely am loving Edge of Eternities. I think it was a high quality set. It brought us reprints of Shocklands in such quantities that it brought down the prices, and affordability is a huge thing in Magic the Gathering. Number 3. This one's pretty short because I don't follow the format too much, but we have standard bans. Wizards has started taking better steps at banning out things. Although they do need to work on banning things a little bit faster, kind of being able to get out of that rigid set. They did ban things in mono red this year, and then they made efforts and banned Vivi out of the format to try to stabilize it. Yes, Izzet is still a predominant force, but it's multiple types of Izzet decks in there. But it shows that Wizards is willing to at least make an effort to try to upkeep their flagship format. Next, and along those same lines, we have the Legacy bans. Now, I am an old Legacy player. I still have a Legacy deck put together in the hopes that someday here in Iowa, we will have Legacy tournaments again. They used to be at several local game stores, but Legacy is extinct anywhere within 75 miles of me. But I have hope that now that Reanimator and Oops All Spells took a big hit when they got rid of Entomb, and now that we're seeing that the format has diversified and become much more healthy. My friend Dewey, who still grinds all the time on Moto, said that the format is in a much better spot than what it was. I have hope that Legacy, although it can never come back to the level that it was, like it was the format in Magic, I don't think it can come back to that level. It could, with these bans, help make the format healthy and attract players back into the format again. Now, we got to talk about Commander, because Commander is the largest format in Magic the Gathering, and honestly, it's the format that my channel's based around, right? It's Commander deck techs. So, Commander's had a great year, in my opinion. So first we had the bracket changes that I want to talk about. These bracket updates letting us know when turns need to end by and what to expect. And then the changes to game changers and tutors are absolutely phenomenal, giving more clarity, especially the defining the turn cycle of different brackets is fantastic, because this helps keep the social contract intact, right? Before, we had different, people and bad actors who would come into lower bracket games, despite not having game changers, still build out for a turn 2, turn 3 win. And with that, we, violated the social contract. With this, you're kind of seeing a more structured way to curate your experience. Also, my apologies, my cat in the other room apparently wants some attention. We'll do that right after this video. Little Yamato over there. Next, we have, along with the changes to the Commander bracket system, we have Tomer from MTG Goldfish being added into the Commander Advisory Committee. Tomer is really, really good, and I think that he is going to be a strong addition to that panel, and that is because Tomer focuses on budget builds. And for those of you who don't know him, he is part of the MTG Goldfish crew, and he focuses predominantly on building budget decks. He builds 25 decks for under $25, that sort of thing, right? And Tomer might be able to be a squeaky wheel in the ear of Gavin, who could then pass on to some people that's maybe some of these Commander staples that we have aren't getting enough reprints. Maybe we can get something like that, or larger print runs, something of those nature, maybe some better health to the format. Next, we're going to go with, this is all subjective now, I'm going to go with just a couple commanders I wanted to mention as being the best, as in most powerful commanders added to Magic the Gathering this year. I'm going to reserve this for, we're gonna pick a top 3, okay? At number 3, so the weakest of these 3 that I'm picking here is the Hearthhome, the spaceship commander from the Precon in Edge of Eternities. And I think that it is a fantastic card, really kind of mixes up Jund Landfall, and just ended up being a incredibly strong value engine. And part of the reason that I put it in here is because he came in a Precon, which means that it was readily accessible to a lot of players because those Precons were printed en masse. Then at number 2, I have Azula, the Grixis Azula, and she is enormously powerful in Commander. I have, in both spell table games and on Arena, been blown out by that card multiple times. There is only one other commander have I encountered on either of those platforms that can outpace and outbeat Azula for those really crushing wins. So I'm giving her number 2. She deserves the respect she's due. Great commander, very, very, very powerful. And then at number 1 for most powerful, Vivi. Vivi, I will die on this hill. I am convinced and adamant that he will be made into a game changer the next time they come around. And I know how they just removed Urza because he's more terrifying as a commander than in the 99. But I am telling you that Vivi is extremely terrifying, whether he is in the 99 or whether he is in the command zone. He is game warping and very often just ends the game just by existing. So those are my top 3 most powerful. Now, for my favorite 3 commanders of the year. Again, totally subjective. This might tell you a little bit about me and what kind of decks I like to run. But number 3, we have Zu Ifrit. For a couple of reasons. One, the alternate art on Zu Ifrit is phenomenal. Some of the best art I've ever seen in Magic the Gathering. Mad mad credit to the artist. That is a beautiful Magic card. Give me more space cards that look like this. 2, Zoo-Ifit is incredibly unique and interesting in its reanimator style. It makes the skeletons. You can bring back big dumb creatures from your graveyard that don't have abilities. And so I've got it built on Arena, and I did a deck tech on it, and I'm currently building it in paper, trying to build something that can really function around that. And I just find Zoo-Ifit to be such an interesting and fun and very well-designed commander. At number 2, ooh, this one's going to be difficult, friends. Number 2, I think I'm going to give the number 2 slot, now this might be a little bit controversial, to the mono red Kratos from the Secret Lair. And I'm building this one in paper too. I just find his ability to be extremely interesting in that it's mono red and punishes people, you know, for not attacking. And then the way you can build it in such a way that it can be both stacks and hyper aggro, just very interesting overall. I can't wait to get mine done in paper. We also have a deck tech for that one out here, but I wish that those cards would also be coming to Arena. Alas, they are not. But I find him to be an incredibly interestingly designed commander. And then at number 1, I have a tie. Now, I will say this, that these partially made number 1 because I am a massive fan of the character and the property. But it is Toph, the first Metal Bender, and Toph Earthbending Master, with Toph Earthbending Master edging out the first Metal Bender by a little bit. Both of these cards are extremely, extremely fun. They're very interesting. The first Metal Bender has a whole bunch of different ways you can play her, be it landfall or having a whole bunch of your artifacts be able to like have sack and recursion abilities. I know some people have talked about like Ichor Wellspring and things like that. And then for Toph Earthbending Master, I love this card. I love Landfall. I know a lot of people think that Landfall is boring, that you're only being rewarded for playing the game, but I really, really like this card. And I find it very interesting that it's working around experience counters rather than just a automatic effect upon Landfall. And I use an infinite combo in the deck that I'm building of it, where it is Springheart Nantuko with Lotus Cobra, and then you put Springheart Nantuko onto one of your Earthbent lands, then you play a land, you generate mana, and you can use Lotus Cobra, Tireless Provisioner, or your Nissa Resurgent Animist, and use that to generate as many basic lands as you so choose. It is a great commander, really fun. My only downside about Toph Earthbending Master is that she was a mythic in the Jumpstart set, which automatically makes it so she is much harder to find. You can only get her from the Jumpstart packs or from opening her up in a collector booster box, and that has sent her from anywhere from $40 to $60. It's a little absurd, and she immediately needs more print runs. Wizards, find a way to do it. Please find a way. These cards that you print into Jumpstart like this shouldn't be left in Jumpstart. Like Wan Shi-Tong here shouldn't be as expensive as he is either. Alright, next we have kind of a W from Wizards. So this W from Wizards comes out of egg on their face. So a few weeks ago we had, actually it's like 2 weeks ago at this point, we were supposed to have the Monster Hunter Secret Lair. And Wizards pulled it due to quality issues and all sorts of things. Bad PR. And they pulled it. This has never happened before. In all of Secret Lair, in anything with Universes Beyond, they pulled the product. And yeah, it's probably because Capcom got upset and they have other stuff with it. But I would like to believe some of it was from community response. And I think that this ends up being a win because it shows that if there's enough feedback, be it from the partner that they are partnered with or the community, Wizards is willing to take something bad back to the drawing table and learn and make it better. And I think that that is a little bit of credit where credit is due. Sure, they should have gotten it right the first time. Absolutely. I agree with that 110%. It's, Hasbro and Wizards are a multi-billion-dollar company. They absolutely had the resources at their disposal to do so. I do not blame the rank and file, workers at Wizards for having this little bit of a mess up, because you know what? They're under a lot of pressure. They make a wage just like the rest of us, right? They don't get to make the huge decisions that barrel down a million sets. But I think that it will end up being a win when it comes back, and I think that they will use this as a strong learning position. Well, that was my best of Magic the Gathering in 2025. Let me know what you think the best things to happen in Magic the Gathering were in 2025. Clearly, it was that a new channel, The Hidden Gibbon, started up with some, deck techs and things like that. That was a joke. I am a tiny speck, infinitesimal speck in the Magic universe. But let me know in the comments down below. I love doing this. It's been a really fun hobby. It's helped my mental health. My wife has commented on how much happier I've been since I've started doing the channel, because it just allows me to talk about something that I absolutely love. So you know what? Thank you all for tuning in. Whether this video gets 1 view or 1 million views, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you from the Hidden Gibbon, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.